Vaikuntaya Namo Namah. Ajnanatmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Namine. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitti Namine. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate giring Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Ninatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Srila Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Ashtotara Shata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Ashtotara Shata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, past, present, and future, including all of you who are physically present and all of you who are virtually present and who will be. I offer my pranam. Hare Krishna. Please forgive me for the madness of the stream. Before there was no electricity, now there's electricity, but there's a crazy storm outside. So we can't control what's going on, but Kirtan and Katha must continue. Let's see. There it is. So we are continuing with our beautiful journey going beyond Vaikuntha. The impossible becoming possible, at least from the perspective of the eternal associates of Srimad Narayan in Vaikuntha. The idea that there's something beyond or greater than where they are with the Lord whom they are with, Srimad Narayan, is an absolute impossibility. And yet, it is possible. In his conversation with Trimala Bhatta, Venkata Bhatta, and Prabhurananda Saraswati Pad, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was staying in Sri Rangam, was able to convince the family of young Gopal Bhatta Goswami of the superiority, of the speciality of Krishna over all other forms of Bhagavan by looking at the different forms in terms of the perspective of rasa. So there are two main conceptions. There's the conception of tattva vichara, and there's the conception of rasa or rasa vichara. And if we want to understand things from a holistic perspective, we must accept both of these. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself gave that special kind of understanding that yes, we can see things from the perspective of tattva, but we must also see from the perspective of rasa if we want to properly understand any situation transcendentally. From the perspective of tattva, known as, say, Vishnu Tattva, God is God, is God, is God, is God. And there is no limitation to God. Shri Ishopanishad states, Om Purnam Adap Purnamidam Purnat Purnamidachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. That he is always complete and he never loses any part of himself. Even if he expands himself unlimitedly, still he never loses any part of himself. He's still complete. And all those full manifestations of himself are also complete. So then how do we understand the difference or speciality between Krishna, Narayan, Ram, Narasingha, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, and all of the other unlimited incarnations or manifestations of God? From the perspective of Tattva, Deeparchireva Hida Santaram Apyupetya Deepayate. Brahma Sanhita states that as one fire lights another, lights another, lights another, all are fire. Fire is fire. So then how can we differentiate? There is the speciality of the original fire. But really, if you're looking at fire, you're saying, this is fire, that's fire, that's fire. So in Tattva, they are all the same. And Vyankatabatta, the father of Gopal Bhatta Goswami, gave this argument to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu accepted, yes, it is true that Narayan and Krishna and Ramchandra and all of these forms are one and the same. And this is also proven in Sri Brahma Samhita by the verse Ram Adi Murtishu Kala Niyamena Tishthan Nanavataram Akarot Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramapumanyo Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Ram and all other forms, Murtishu, Kala, they are phases or portions of the complete whole. Just as we see the moon. On a full moon night, we see the full circle of the moon disk, you could say, of the moon globe. But at different times, we see that it is a half moon, it is a skinny moon, even we see that it is not visible. And yet anyone with any intelligence can understand that the moon is always full, even if it's only manifesting a portion. So then how do we differentiate in terms of the different forms of Bhagavan? This is according to rasa, the conception of rasa known as rasa vichar. And that is in relation with the depth of the love of his devotees for him. And so in different realms, the Lord reciprocates with a particular kind of sentiment of a devotee. I would call them groups of devotees who have similar intrinsic propensities to love the Lord. Again, the conception of seeds is quite essential in this conversation, because you can group seeds according to their particular nature and the particular tree and fruit that they will produce. And that is what they will be, and that is their perfection. So a mango seed of any particular mango tree will grow a mango tree and those kinds of fruits. An apple seed will grow an apple tree and those kinds of fruits. Strawberry seed will grow a strawberry plant and those kind of, is it a fruit or a berry? Anyhow, we call it a strawberry. Whatever seed you have takes on that nature. It manifests its own nature. And those of a similar nature are grouped together transcendentally. So those who have Shuddha Aishwarya Bhav for Bhagavan, they are naturally grouped together in terms of their relationship with the Lord in Aishwarya Bhav, or with Aishwarya Gyan, and that would be in Vaikuntha. And then there are those who have a greater form of intimacy, where the mood of prem manifests as dasya, but still with Aishwarya, and they would naturally group toward Sri Ramachandra. And then there are those who have even further intimacy, with dasya, but also sakya, friendship. And there is samvatsalya also. And they would group with Krishna in Dwarka. But it is still saturated with Aishwarya Gyan, or knowledge of the opulence of the Lord. In Dwarka, Krishna has manifested 16,108 forms, 16,108 palaces to accommodate each queen. He has 10 sons and 1 daughter from each queen. Thousands and millions of associates. Very often they see him manifesting his 4-armed form, and they all realize and understand that he is Bhagavan. Right? Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane. They understand that he is Bhagavan, that he is Paramatma. In Braj, they don't have this understanding. There is more intimacy. And even though all Aishwarya, all knowledge, all opulence is present there, it is fully covered. How is it covered? Srila Gurudev has explained that there is more Aishwarya in a single particle of dust in Braj than in all of the Vaikuntha planets combined. But the Madhuryata, the rasa is so voluminous, it is so great that it completely drowns that Aishwarya. Sometimes, every once in a while, that opulence nature of Bhagavan manifests itself. The example our acharyas give is like a single blade of grass in a big container of milk. 14 manas. What is a mana? Do you know what a mana is? I'm just going to speculate it's gallons. Let's have 40 gallons of milk. And there's one blade of dry straw that's in that milk. And that milk is boiling. So what happens with that straw is it comes to the surface for 1 second, it shows itself, and then immediately dives underneath. And so sometimes the Brajbasis see amazing things like Krishna killing demons, Krishna lifting Govardhan Hill, so many amazing feats. But it never creates within their heart a feeling, oh, he is God, I should offer pranam to him, I should beg for his mercy and shelter. When demons are there, they think, oh, yes, Garga Muni said sometimes the power of Narayan will act through our Krishna. Or if he's lifting Govardhan, all the gopis think that they're lifting it by their eyes. The cowherd men think we're lifting it with our sticks. Everyone thinks I'm doing my part. And they're amazed that somehow this little boy is standing there, but they're thinking that they're all taking part in this Leela. And sometimes, even the elders of Braj, Nanda Baba's brothers, Sunanda, Upananda, all of them, the elders come together at Nanda Baitan, just down the hill from the palace, Nanda Bhavan at Nandagaon. Just down the hill from there's a place called Nanda Baitan. And they're all sitting there discussing the beauty, the sweetness, the glories of Krishna. And every once in a while, his brothers and the elders say, oh, Nanda Baba, I think we might have a problem. You see, Krishna is performing all of these amazing, majestic feats. He's lifting Govardhan, he's killing demons, he's doing so many amazing things. We think that you probably should be a little bit more gentle with your son, don't discipline him so much. We think he may be Bhagavan. Nanda Baba begins laughing and laughing and laughing. Oh, you think he's Bhagavan? Does Bhagavan need to steal butter? Does Bhagavan steal butter and feed it to monkeys and crows? And if he doesn't get what he wants, does Bhagavan pinch babies and make them cry, or does he urinate on the floor? Apparently you haven't gained any intelligence. You have not even grown your baby teeth yet. You think my son is Bhagavan? Is he always Bhagavan? Why does he need to lie and cheat like my boy? If I do not discipline him, then he will become a great gunda, mafioso in the future, and no one will love him. It is my duty as his father to give him discipline. So Nanda Baba immediately puts all of their doubts, he throws them out completely. And they're like, yeah, you're right, what were we thinking? And then immediately they forget all of that. So this is like the straw of Aishwarya coming up. For one moment, it pokes its head out, immediately it dives into that ocean of rasa. So Vrindavan is that place where rasa is completely drowning all of the inhabitants. So how is it that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was able to convince Vyankata Trimal Bhatta Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad of the charm and superiority of Krishna as being the ultimate supreme personality of all Godhead? Now Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada aptly uses this term. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead because he's manifesting all 64 qualities in full simultaneously. Sriman Narayan is not manifesting all of them. Sri Ramachandra is not manifesting all of them. But Krishna in Braj is relating with everyone and fulfilling the desires of everyone. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was able to show to these personalities, Hare Krishna, with a very simple example. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the Nagapatnis, the wives of Kaliya, are praying to Krishna. How is it possible that our husband, Kaliya, has been able to receive the mercy of your lotus feet, the dust of your lotus feet upon his head, when even Lakshmi Devi herself, to this day, cannot achieve that mercy? And they became a little bit concerned. Why are you joking with us? Why are you saying these things to us? Because they were the leaders of Sri Rangam, of the Sri Sampradaya. Lakshmi Devi is the main personality within that lineage. So they were quite concerned. Why are you teasing us? No, Mahaprabhu said, no, I just would like for you to answer this question. There's a whole history. Lakshmi Devi saw that my Prabhu, Sriman Narayan, is performing such beautiful pastimes in Vrindavan. I've never seen Sriman Narayan play a flute before. And he's wearing peacock feathers in his hair. And he's dancing. Wow, so beautiful, so charming. How he's playing with his friends, how he's playing with his cows, and how he is relating with the gopis. Wherever my Prabhu manifests, I'm also able to manifest with him. I'm always his eternal consort. So I also want to join this Leela. So Lakshmi Devi came to Krishna. I also want to join with you as I do in every other pastime of yours. Can I join? Krishna said, sure, but there are some conditions. You will have to give up your status as a Brahmani and take birth from the womb of a Vaishya. You will have to become a gopi. This is something, if anyone knows anything about Indian culture and caste system, it's a big request. But she's like, okay, I can do that. And you will have to milk cows and churn yogurt to make butter. I can do that. And our Gurudev would always add, and you will have to make cow dung patties. Right? She's like, okay, I can do that. And then Krishna gave the last request, the last requirement. In Braj, I am not married to anyone. In Braj, there is only Parakiya Ras, Parakiya Bhav. So if you want to enter my Ras Leela, then you will have to marry any other gop. And then sneak away in the middle of the night to meet with me. She said, how can I marry any other gop? I'm your eternal consort. It is impossible. Impossible. He said, that's the requirement. To this day, Lakshmi Devi is residing in Shrivan, also known as Belvan, because it is full of bale fruit trees. But it is known as Shrivan. Shri means Srimati Radhika. Lakshmi Sahasrashata Sambrama Sevyamaram. In Vrindavan, there are unlimited Lakshmis rendering service to Krishna. And Radhika herself is Sarva Lakshmi Mayi, the source of all of the Lakshmis, including Lakshmi in Vaikuntha. Uma, Rama, Satya, Shachi, Chandra, Rukmini, Radha, Avatar, Save, Amnaya Vani. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has established this fact, according to all Shastras, that all of these different forms are the avatar of the original Swarup Shakti, Srimati Radhika. She is the original Lakshmi from whom unlimited Lakshmis are manifested. So Lakshmi Devi has taken shelter in Shrivan, the forest of Srimati Radhika, and is to this day doing austerity, intense austerity, with the hope of one day being able to enter into the Ras Leela of Braj. But she lacks some of the nature of entering in. In other words, she cannot marry any other gop. So when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this knowledge to Vyankata Bhatta, Trimala Bhatta, and Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad, they realized something, they understood something. That yes, our Lakshmi is great, but her source is Srimati Radhika. And so at that time, they took shelter of Srimati Radhika. They all became devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and servants of Radha Krishna. Srila Gurudev explained that this means that they were still in the stage of progression in their path of bhakti. They had not yet realized or attained their sthayi bhav. But by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this became fixed. So Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad made his Bhajan Kutir at Kaliyahrad, which is the place where the Nagapatnis actually offered this prayer to Krishna. And he wrote such beautiful glories of Sri Vrindavan Dham, such beautiful glories of Srimati Radhika, Radha Rasa Shuddhanide Vrindavana Mahimamrita, and the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Chandramrita. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed that there is certainly tattva vichar, and this cannot be neglected. And yet there is something which dances on that foundation of tattva vichar, and that is known as rasa vichar. And ultimately, our understanding must follow rasa vichar. Srila Gurudev has explained very clearly that there are so many different opinions given in the scriptures. But ultimately, we will accept the opinion of those persons whom Krishna himself feels completely indebted to. That I can never repay you, even in lifetimes of Brahma. Nabariyeham niravadya samyujam. I can never repay you. The gopis themselves, what their mood is, what they have established, and their vision of Krishna is the highest vision. So ultimately, we will have to accept that rasik perspective, especially for those who are in this line of Sri Rupa Goswami and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So now I would like to enter into this transcendental literature, going beyond Vaikuntha, praying in the dust of the lotus feet of Srila Gurudev and Sri Sanatana Goswami Pad, that may even a particle of their moods, which are present within these pages, manifest itself within our hearts. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Sri Sanatana Goswami Pad ki jai. There it is. So yesterday we were hearing, based on the verse of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Aishwarya Jnanete Sava Jagat Mishrita. Everyone in the entire universe, they have this idea of the Aishwarya of Bhagavan. But it is the Lord himself saying, Aishwarya Shitala Preme Nahi Mora Prita. That person who is approaching Bhagavan with this mood of Aishwarya, which means a mood of awe, reverence, and even some fear, they cannot capture the heart of the Lord, because that mood weakens the feeling of love and affection that could manifest. If there is a mood of awe and reverence and fear, then you cannot manifest normal love and affection. Love and affection must be spontaneous, and without any of that, pure love and affection. You cannot force someone to love someone. And if there is fear involved, then is it real? Is it full? Is it complete? Srila Gurudev would argue this point, that you cannot force it. If there's some fear, if I do not serve Bhagavan, then there will be some negative consequence. I might go to hell, or he might become upset with me. I must serve him, I must worship him with this mood of awe and reverence. This will weaken the natural prema which is there. As we mentioned yesterday about, or the day before, about Arjuna, when he was shown the Virat Rupa, the universal form of the Lord, then he began apologizing. Please forgive me, I have made so many mistakes, I have made so many aparads, I have called you friend, I have embraced you, I've shared from your plate, I've slept on the same bed, and I have mistreated you in so many ways, I've made so many offenses, please forgive me. So this Aishwarya that he saw weakened his state of natural affection. Of course, we know that Arjuna's position in relation with Krishna is eternal, but he is giving this as an example for us, that this kind of Aishwarya Gyan can weaken that prema which is there. Arjuna's prema is never weakened, but he has shown us as an example. But Mother Yashoda did not feel this when she saw the universal form within the mouth of Krishna. She thought maybe some ghost had entered or was in the vicinity. So instead of offering prayers to him, she felt, oh, there's some negative energy, so she decorated him with all kinds of black strings, black spots. She was chanting all kinds of mantras, bathed him in panchagavya, and did all protective rituals for her son to protect him, because she is saturated with Vatsalya Prem. Seeing this universal form did not make her think, oh my God. It made her think, oh my God, protect my son. There's a great difference between the experience of Arjun seeing the universal form and the experience of Mother Yashoda seeing the universal form within her own son. She only thought, I must somehow or other protect him. And then she gave him her own milk. So this is Vatsalya Prem, pure Vatsalya Prem. So Srila Gurudev was speaking about the difference between Vishramba Seva and Sambrahma. So one is knowledge of Aishwarya and one is with intimacy, with affection, like a worldly friend. And of course we hear that one should serve Gurudev with this kind of affection. Vishrambena Gurur Seva. With love and affection, and Srila Gurudev would say, like a worldly bandhu, your friend of this world. But he also gave us a warning that it should not be artificial. I remember there was someone who was trying to pretend. So Brajanath Prabhu was very, very sick. He was in bed. And this disciple of Srila Gurudev put his arm around Gurudev's neck and started marching Gurudev back and forth in the room, saying, so it looks like you're going to need a new secretary soon, Gurudev. Gurudev was not touched by this in a good way at all. You can see Gurudev was completely not, I would say he was unimpressed by it. And subsequently this devotee fell away. This was aparad. He was playing too much with his guru. So we should not cross the maryada that is required in this world, either with Gurudev or with Bhagavan, artificially. If it is real, true, and spontaneous, then it would be inside and outside the same. But otherwise, very easily, we can make offense to Bhagavan. We can make offense to Gurudev. So, one must be on the level to be able to relate with Gurudev like this. Otherwise, it will be very dangerous for our spiritual life. So Srila Gurudev was saying that there are many different kinds of servants, but the best servant is the one who understands the inner heart's desire of Gurudev and serves Gurudev without needing to be asked. This kind of personality, they are able to engage in what is known as Vishrambena Gurur Seva because they understand the heart of Gurudev. But so often we can superimpose our material desires or try to use Gurudev as in some way to serve us. But how to serve Gurudev? So Gurudev said the first or the best kind is that person who knows the heart of their Gurudev and does whatever is necessary to serve Gurudev. And the example we gave yesterday was of Srila Rupa Goswami, the day before. Understanding the inner heart's desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and establishing that in this world. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamakyam Dadati Swapadantikam. He understands the inner heart's desire. So he is the topmost servant. And his Manobhishta Seva is the deepest kind of Vishramba Seva. It's not just an external thing, it's also an internal thing. And then Srila Gurudev says, there's another kind of servant. The Gurudev will say, go send for such and such Maharaj. The servant will answer back, but Guruji, now it is early evening and it's becoming dark. Gurudev knows it is becoming dark, but he has given his order. It doesn't matter if it is dark, just go. Then this servant will say, but Guruji, on the road there are many dogs. Gurudev says, never mind that, take a stick with you and go. But what if I go and Maharaj is not there? Then what will I do? What can such a servant do? Srila Gurudev was asking this question. What can such a servant do? He's always coming up with excuses. From the word sevak, meaning servant, remove the se and that leaves bak. Bak means crane, a hypocritical devotee. The crane stands on one leg in the water as if he were a great renounced devotee in meditation. But as soon as a fish swims by, he will snatch it and eat it and then return to his pose. So many disciples are also like this, externally pretending that I'm a very good devotee, I'm a good disciple. But when that order of Guru comes, are we ready? Are we willing to follow it? Or are we only giving so much, what we say in English, lip service, speaking so many things but not meaning it from our heart? Therefore, the Uttama servant, the best servant, is a real servant. And in a general way, we can also call the Madhyam servant a real servant. But one who is argumentative is not a servant at all. Many years ago, 2008, we were with Srila Gurudev. He had given an instruction, not directly to us, but that we should stop traveling the world and go to Los Angeles and take over the service of that temple and do preaching from there. He said, whatever you're doing around the world, do it there. And there were some conditions, and we were waiting for some conditions to be met. So we went into his room in Navadvip in 2008, or was it 2009, I can't remember. And Srila Gurudev told the devotees, you asked for them, so I'm giving them. I'm very anxious for Los Angeles because Los Angeles was having some difficulty monetarily and in terms of the temple and everything. I'm very anxious for Los Angeles. So they said, Gurudev, he said, just bring them and everything will be okay. And they said, Gurudev, we're not convinced. And Srila Gurudev said, just bring them and everything will be done. And they said, Gurudev, we're not convinced. Gurudev said, then what can we do? What can be done? And then someone else said, well, Gurudev, we can bring them to this other location and test them out. We can give them a trial for a year. And Gurudev said, then what? Now, Gurudev said, I'm anxious for Los Angeles, but they offered a different location. And then Gurudev said, and then what? You will throw them in the street? And they're like, no, Gurudev. And then Gurudev said, I think it is better. I think it is better that they continue traveling the world and doing the seva as they were. And the devotees there said, better for who? Better for them or better for us? And Gurudev said, better for me and better for them. And then he made this motion like this. And then someone jumped next to him and said, but Gurudev, don't you remember? And Gurudev just ignored them. So they were arguing with him, arguing and arguing. And then the conversation ended, everyone left. And I just remember being at Gurudev's feet, just bawling my eyes out, just crying at his feet. And he let me do it for maybe 5 minutes or so. And then just as we left the room, I think Tungavidya Didi, you were there around that time. One of the devotees who were present, they came to me and maybe it was the next day. Srila Gurudev had told us to continue traveling 11 times in 2 days. And Tungavidya was just crying. She said, I've never seen him give orders like that. And then this other devotee came up, oh, Gurudev only gave you that order because you didn't want to follow what he really wanted. And I said, I'm not on that level to second guess what Gurudev wanted. The point I'm making is that Gurudev gives an order, and he gives the order again and again and again and again. And if we continually try to second guess, always jumping around, trying to second guess, then we may miss what he wants to give. So Gurudev told us, do this. And then Gurudev told us, don't do this. And then he told us, do it. And then he said, don't. So as third class personalities, we don't have the right to be able to assume that we understand the heart of Gurudev. Then it is our imperative duty to try to follow the order of Gurudev, even if it doesn't seem to make sense, as Gurudev has given this example now. Yes, Vaikuntha Didi. Yes. So Vaikuntha Maladini is sharing that Pujapat Bhaktivedanta Ban Maharaj has explained, based on the teachings of our Srila Gurudev, of course, that until one is at the stage of bhav, then they must simply follow the order of Gurudev as it is. They don't have the capacity to second guess what Gurudev meant or didn't mean. When he gives the order, then we must follow it. When one is on the stage of bhav, then they can understand the deeper innuendos or the deeper meanings or subtleties within the instruction of Gurudev. And then they may have the right to question or make an adjustment because they understand the heart of Gurudev. So the perfect example is of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. His Gurudev, Srila Gaur Das Babaji Maharaj, told him, don't go to Calcutta. So what did Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada do? He brought Mayapur and Vrindavan and established that within the heart of what we know physically as Calcutta. But he himself was never in Calcutta. Yet it appears from the outside that he disobeyed the order of his Guru, when actually he was exercising the mood of the best kind of servant. He understood the inner heart's desire of his Gurudev, and from that place he established Gaudiya Math, and from that came the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So we should understand that he was doing the best kind of Manobishta and Vishrammena Gurur Seva. So this is a very, very important subject. Yes, Tungavidya Didi. So Tungavidya Didi is sharing that one time Srila Gurudev told someone that you should go back to your country and then you should return. And the devotee returned and then he was staying in the mud. But Srila Gurudev, he didn't understand what Srila Gurudev wanted. And very quickly he ended up leaving. I remember there was one devotee who came, because Gurudev said, he would tell about Srila Gaur Das Babaji Maharaj, that you are going to come to the Dham and then you're going to return back to your life. I've never heard anything like this. Krishna says one who comes to my abode never returns to the material world. So one devotee, he basically just jumped from one vehicle to the next, through Afghanistan and Pakistan all the way to India, and he came to the Mutt and he said, I'm here. And after Kartik, he wanted to stay. And Srila Gurudev said, you're not qualified. You will end up just becoming a disturbance in the Mutt. So he did it thinking that, yes, I'm cutting a one-way ticket, but he did not have the qualification yet. So these are the kind of things, if we're not qualified, that we must also question the senior Vaishnavas about. Yes, Didi. So Vaikuntha Maladini is sharing that Srila Gurudev had made some comments that if you are really sincere, then you will throw your passport and everything away in the Jamuna and you will stay here forever. So one devotee actually did that. And Gurudev became furious with him that you have not understood my meaning, you have not understood my intention. So these kinds of things then we need to qualify with senior Vaishnavas and also with Gurudev, because it cannot be an artificial thing. Yes? So Vrindavan Vilasini Didi sharing that somebody wanted to stay and they told Gurudev that they wanted to remain And he said, well, you need your money, you need a passport and a visa, or next life you will have to be born in India. So there needs to be some kind of qualification. It should not be an artificial thing that someone assumes that they're understanding the deepest inner heart's mood of Gurudev if they're not on that level of bhav. I remember many years ago, I think it was in 1999, we were at Govardhan, and Srila Gurudev asked one devotee to stand up and speak what he spoke in the morning. And he spoke on Vacho Vegam, Manasakrodha Vegam. We were there, we all heard him. But this devotee gave a very different class than what we heard from Gurudev. And we're thinking, that's not what he spoke. And he looked up and he said, very good. There's so many subtleties in the Harikatha of Gurudev, and one who has been trained to understand what that is, they will be able to see it, acknowledge it, to recognize it. And the rest of us, we'll hear something else. Like Gurudev wanted Sudevi to sing once, and he was speaking on the body, and this material body, and that it is so fragile and it can be finished at any moment. He told Sudevi to come and sing, so she was planning for Bhajahuremana. And Krishna Das, he was sitting there and he said, no, Harinama Tua. She said, but he's speaking on Bhajahuremana. Krishna Das said, no, Harinama Tua. And she looked at him like, what? He said, trust me, Harinama Tua. He had been with Gurudev in so many thousands of classes when he was speaking on certain subjects. And suddenly Gurudev just switched subject matter and started speaking on the glories of Harinam and the pastimes of Krishna. And then he said, now you should sing. So Krishna Das Prabhu was able to understand these subtleties where the rest of us would be like, no, that's not what he's speaking about. So service with intimacy can assist one to be able to understand the inner heart's desire of Gurudev, but not by trying to control with my position or how much money I've donated or anything like that. This is not a qualification. But one who serves with their life and soul, one whom Sri Gurudev infuses with that understanding, that bhav, then they will be able to understand the heart of Gurudev. This subject matter is actually infinite, but it is time to end at 7:15. Did you want to add something?
I think with the order of the spiritual master, the potency or the ability to carry out the instruction will come from him.
Yes.
Whether you accept it or not. Like Prabhupada, when Krishna, the Radhika asked him to come to the material world, he said, I don't want to come. And Krishna said, don't worry, he said, I'll take care of everything. So Prabhupada also, when he was doing the books, he wanted him to think that he was a in like 1 month.
2 months, was it? Chaitanya Charitamrita took 2 months from beginning to end, right? Publication. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, it took 2 months, right?
Yeah. So it's like a 6 months ordeal. So they said it's impossible. Prabhupada said, do it. And they did it.
Yes. So Gopijana Vallabha Prabhu is making a very beautiful point that within the order of Guru also comes the qualification to be able to fulfill that instruction. Even if it is seemingly impossible, like when Srila Prabhupada wanted to produce Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, he wanted to finish it very, very quickly. And the devotees thought this is not possible. But yet, within a couple of months, somehow, by his mercy, they were given the intelligence and the ability to do the impossible. With all of the paintings, the translations, the purports, the printing, and everything, within a couple of months, they were able to publish Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yes? There was a 24-hour cycle with shifts, and even so many different devotees were working on the same painting, and each one would do their speciality within that painting. But it was a 24-hour shift with so many devotees going constantly, and the impossible was made possible. But we should understand that within the order of Guru is the is contained the ability to follow it. So Gurudev gives that special potency to be able to follow it. I remember something from Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj. He was given that position as the editor of was it the Patrika or the magazine? But he didn't have any experience previous to that. And he was thinking that perhaps he had to learn this or learn certain things. And he was instructed, was it by Saraswati Prabhupada or the senior Vaishnavas? Saraswati Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, that within the order of Guru comes all of the ability to fulfill that order. And so everything will naturally, spontaneously manifest in your heart. If your heart is sincere, if you really desire to please Guru, then everything will manifest. It's not some external artificial contrivance. But through that order also comes the ability to follow that order and all of the facility also to be able to fulfill it. Unflinching faith is necessary.
I sat down next to him and said, now I'm anointing you as the head Pujari. You have to take care of me. I was totally shocked. I said, me? I have to take care of everything? And he looked at me and said, yeah, you have to take care of me.
Wow.
And I went, but it turned out very successful.
So Gopi Janawala was sharing that when Gopinath Bhavan was just built and Thakurji had just arrived, Shri Radha Gopinath and Sachinandan Gaurahari, Gurudev called Gopi Janawala over and he sat down at Gurudev's feet. Gurudev just told him, now you will have to be the head pujari and you will have to take care of everything. And Gopi Janawala, he was like, me? He's like, yes, you. And he said, even though he didn't have that previous samskar like that, but anyhow, by the mercy of Gurudev and the order of Gurudev, the Pujari Seva went on beautifully, and it's still continuing to this day very beautifully. Okay, I think we should now end for Arti. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupa Gauri Guru Varga ki jai, Shri Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Radha Gopinath ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinam Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Jai. You want to lead Arti?
I'm ready.
You ready? Oh, Joe. Hare Krishna. Yes, I need for my back. Okay, am I going to switch the camera around? 1 second. Camera 0. Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Ju Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai. Radhe Radhe. See you all tomorrow. Radhe Shyam. Shri Gurudev ki jai.